Okay, are we? Hey, can you hear me? I think we're live. I think we're doing this thing. Um, hey, James Collins. Hopefully, you can give me a heads up whether or not you can hear me here. Um, and it looks like we've got a few people hanging out. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. We're just, I planned on doing a live stream. The wife and some of her friends and whatnot decided to go out tonight and decided to do a live stream, and then I got a package um, in the mail that I wasn't expecting for a while. So, um, yeah, I'm gonna actually wait because I've been rambling for a while, and I just want to make sure that you guys can. Oh, yay, SDA! Thank you. Appreciate that. Really do. Well, I can at least. That's you know what. That's perfectly acceptable to me. I'm gonna zoom in on my dumb face here. I feel like that's way too far out. And then let's go up just a little bit. Man, I really love this Insta360 cam or whatever it's called. Hey, James, appreciate it. Um, so yeah, like I said, I plan on doing a live stream, just kind of a hangout. I wanted to let you guys know that I finally did come up with a more structured time for doing live streams, that sort of thing. It's going to be Saturday afternoon at like 1:30ish, and that's Mountain Time for those of you here in America. If you're not in America, that's like GMT minus 6. So, yeah, Saturday, 1:30, GMT minus 6 in the afternoon. So, that was kind of the original plan. Of course, that wasn't going to be much of a live stream, but I figured, we hang out, we do what we do, chat about some stuff, talk about whatever. You guys can tell me what you got going on. We can talk about whatever's up. But then, then today, something interesting happened, and this showed up. In fact, a whole care box from that showed up, and I wasn't expecting it for quite a while still, a couple of weeks anyway. Um, and I thought, let's make use of our time this evening and hang out. Let's take a look at this, and let's kind of go over the specs of it. I've opened this up and I've looked at it. I've familiarized myself enough with it to not make a complete jerk of myself when we get into it. But I have not powered it on. I haven't plugged anything in. I haven't done anything. In fact, you even have to install your own RAM. Luckily, they sent me 8 gigs RAM to go with it, and we'll talk about that when we get to that point. But yeah, it looks like we got a few people here. Spark says greetings from Aruba, dude. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. SDA Collins, thanks, man, whatever. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you being here. Really do. I know a lot of these tend to be unscheduled, but again, hopefully starting this Saturday at 1:30 at GMT minus 6, we're going to start doing these regularly. We might even have some topics and some things to talk about. I'm still working on the submit your home lab. I've kind of got an outline for that that I've run through over on our Discord channel. If you haven't joined Discord yet, you should. And let me see if this works. I'm trying something for the first time here. I'm gonna push that button and see what happens. In theory, that's supposed to. I don't know. So here's the thing, right? Like it's up. It's actually up a little higher. Maybe I could bring it down here, and then maybe I apologize for this noise. Maybe that'll help. So anyway, Rick, thanks for joining from Portugal. That's awesome. Really appreciate you being here. Joris sells. I know I screwed that up. I apologize. Thanks for letting me know it was low on your end. I moved my mic. Hopefully that'll make it better for everybody. But yeah. So where was I going with this? Oh, so anyway, I've got kind of an outline done for the submit your home lab thing. I still want to build a web page and set up an email address for it, that sort of thing, so we can be more structured when that starts. Of course, it's going to change. Things are going to change. That's how it works. But yeah. So that's kind of the gist of what I've got going on right now. So I guess the next step here will be let's actually jump over to my desktop here, like so. And of course, this is the ZimaBoard /Blade webpage that talks about the ZimaBlade. Of course, that's what we're here to talk about this evening. Andy and John, dude. Oh, sorry. I read England instead of New England. Andy Paquin from New England, dude. Thanks for being here. John Hamlin from the UK. Glad to have you here as well. Dude, it's late. Isn't it like 2 or something o'clock in the morning there in the UK? That's great. I plan on, right after we're done with this stream, I'm putting my butt in bed. I am so tired. And I guess, so here a while back, we befriended the neighborhood raccoons, and it's been great. They're a lot of fun. I go out, I hand feed them, and dude, thank you. I appreciate your positivity there, man. GTA Ooze from Sri Lanka, thanks for hanging out. True for life. Thanks for coming by. I'm glad you're here for the first time. We got it 2 o'clock in the morning. That is bonkers to me. So yeah, I'm not going to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning because here a while back we befriended the neighborhood raccoons. There are 4 babies and 2 parents, and they've been fun. They've been a lot of fun to hang out with and play with and whatnot. But they started breaking into our house to gain access to the cat food and things like that. And we thought we had a solution for that. And it turns out we were wrong, because about 1:30 this morning, my wife woke me up, like shaking my leg, being like, I really need your help. We've got a raccoon that needs to get out. So we spent a good chunk of like 45 minutes getting this raccoon, who was trying to hide under the couch over here. He'd actually come in through the front window because we left that open for the cats, thinking the raccoons wouldn't come in that way. So anyway, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and I'm tired, but I'm super, super excited to talk about this ZimaBoard thing. So if I seem a little extra ditzy this evening, it's because I'm tired. I'm drinking some tea. I don't even know if it's got caffeine in it, but my brain's going to think it does. So desktop, there we go. Okay. So this is, like I said, the ZimaBoard/Blade. This is like their official like website marketing page for this to get more information about the device, and that's what we're going to take a look at here first. And we said, reclaim your cloud. They've done some real cool, cyberpunk-esque aesthetics both with this, and I can say that it actually does look like that, which I dig. I agree, James. Those trash pandas are gonna get me, man. They're so cute. But yeah, it's it's fun. It's whatever. So we scroll down a little bit on the page over here on the ZimaBoard site. Single board server for the cyber native. ZimaBlade is the starter personal server for cyber natives who dare to be outlaws of the centralized cyberspace. I really dig that. I appreciate the little shtick they're going with there. I really do appreciate it. And of course, now it says now you can now on crowd supply from $64. And of course, below that, we've got some different specs as far as USB-C and card size. And it's got a PCIe port just like the ZimaBoard did. Quad-core processor, up to 16 gigs of DDR3L. So that's going to be SODIMM RAM. We talked a little bit about that. They actually sent me 8 gigs. Turns out 16 gigs of DDR3 and SODIMM is expensive. So I see why they only sent me 8 gigs. No hard feelings at all. So it's also got a gigabit Ethernet, 6-watt TDP. It's 6 or 10 depending on which processor. We got a dual SATA 3, USB 3, 4K 60 hertz video. That's done through a mini display port that you can, of course, then break out to HDMI or whatever. So that's what's going on for kind of the specs there. And of course, here is the board. As we scroll down, or as we see here, a couple of SATA ports, one here, one there, power port. Their marketing implies that you can actually support or actually power 2 3.5-inch spinning drives, and I'm interested to see if that's true. Case looks nice. Yeah, I do. I agree with that. I really dig the aesthetic they went with. Something else to note, we'll get into this later, is that the case is actually also a heatsink. The whole thing is heatsink, other than the top part that we can see right here on top. The rest of it is metal. It's a heatsink. So there's no fan. It's completely fanless, and I kind of dig that. Of course, with only being either 6 or 10 watts TDP, I don't necessarily think you might need a fan for that. So, awesome, Arizona. Hey, how's it going? I'm glad to see that you're here. Thanks for hanging out. So yeah, as we kind of, scroll down the page, we can kind of see the blowaway on this. And of course, it gives us more information. Full function USB-C, super speed USB 3, mini DisplayPort 1.2, gigabit Ethernet, PCI 2.0 by 4. They actually sent me several different PCI expansion cards that we're going to take a look at as well. Like I said, we've got a dual SATA 3, and then there's that power plug in the middle, and a SODIMM slot. This says up to 8 gigabytes of can't even read that number. It's actually up to 16 gigs, but again, that 16 gig single channel DDR3 SODIMM is quite a bit more expensive than the 8 gig. So maybe that's why they put 8 gigs there. Connect, expand, hack. Hack being, like learn stuff, build stuff, that kind of thing, not actively doing bad things on the internet, just so we're clear. Single cable PC. Yep. I mean, I guess technically if you were to do the wireless connection, you could do a single cable. Otherwise, you're going to want, power and Ethernet. Firewall, sort of, maybe. And I say that because depending on the amount of traffic you're routing through it, you may want a stronger processor. But if you're just, separating some stuff out, it's probably going to be fine. Plex Media Server, absolutely. It's got the Intel processor that's got the Intel QuickSync video option on it, which is great for doing video streaming. Retro game emulator, 100%. Wireless travel router, again, yep, if you've got the wireless option there. Personal cloud storage, again, absolutely. Light Home Lab server, I'm using 3 of their Zima boards as a home lab right now, and it's been amazing. Interestingly enough, it is a Proxmox high availability cluster that I've got my Zima board set up in. And if you've been around, you probably already know that. Interesting that they've got auto GPT server here. That might be something with regards to the operating system on it. We'll get into that later. And then, of course, more, cyberpunk-esque stuff here as far as, things you can do with it. And of course, really, it's got an Intel processor and at least 8 gigs of RAM. You can do a lot with it. It's kind of whatever your imagination wants you to do with it. And then, of course, they've got some Passmark scores and things like that, comparing this to a Raspberry Pi 4, which for the price I don't disagree with, comparing those two. But it's interesting that their scores are all 100%, and then everything else is 61% or 29% or 24%. I think it's interesting that they went that route. So anyway, so we get down here to the actual specifications here. So I don't know if I've got the quad core or the dual core. I believe they're both for virtual cores. But I'm not sure which of these I've got. It doesn't say on the box. It doesn't say on the device. I have no idea. We're going to find out together. SODIMM slot compatible with 16 gigs of DDR3L. True, but again, we're only going to deal with 8. It's got, like I said earlier, 32 gigs of eMMC storage built on, 1 gig Ethernet, passive cooling, 6 or 10 watts, depending on which of the processors you've got there. And then we've actually got 2 different display options. One is the full function USB Type-C display, as well as the mini display. And then, of course, we've got some other stuff here for PCIe, USB 3, Type-C, Type-A, a couple of USB 2.0 internals, and then a couple of SATA 6 gigs. And then the processor's got the UHD Intel graphics, so up to 750 megahertz. As I mentioned, the Intel QuickSync video and clear video technologies. It supports virtualization. So again, if you wanted to throw Proxmox or ESXi or something on there and virtualize something, you could. Just keep in mind what your CPU limitations are. Dimensions, I believe these are the dimensions of the device in its case. If you wanted to create your own case, it would be a different size, obviously. And it looks like we're up to about 36 watts of power. And I actually wasn't sure about that, but that's how we're able to power 2 3.5-inch spinning hard disks. So I think the limitation on that has to do with the CPU as far as not being able to support 32 gigs. Also, because it's DDR3, I'm not sure that 32 gig sticks were available in the DDR3 SODIMM slots, and if they were, I can't imagine how expensive they would have been. Just because, we're actually looking around earlier on Discord the other day. You can get an 8 gig SODIMM stick for $50 or whatever. But in fact, I think it was even less than that. But a 16 gig stick was like $150 for DDR3. So I don't know that I don't know that there was a 32 gig option for single channel DDR3 SODIMMs. And if there is, I think the limitation is going to be the CPU there. So that's that. And of course, they've got all kinds of little marketing things here for different things you might do with it, like a retro gaming station or a little mini NAS where you can see that they're powering. They claim to be powering two 3.5-inch drives with that. But again, with having 36 watts of power running through this thing, I don't imagine that's going to be too much of an issue. And again, here we've got a breakout board. I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to assume it's a LAN card. There we are. We're doing some retro stuff there. That's how big it is. We'll get into that in just a minute. And here are, okay, so that was this board right here that I wasn't sure about. And I've got, I think, all of these breakout boards. So we'll get back into that as far as the processor here. It was actually being discussed in their Discord the other day, or yesterday, I guess. But basically, here we've got a 4 by 2.5 gig. So basically, it's 4 LAN ports that each are 2.5 gigs. We've got 5 SATA port expansions here. We've got a 10 gig card over here. I believe that's the 10 gig card. They sent me all of this again, as well as the wireless card you can see here. So we're going to take a look at all of that, as well as some other stuff. They sent me this case, actually, to put 2 3.5-inch drives in, and just more beauty shots, and that's it. We've been through all of that already. So here it says you can sign up and join the digital revolution today, and then of course more information down here. So one of the things that they sent me was a link actually to oh no, you're right, I apologize. Desktop, hey, look at that. So basically they wanted me to show you this, which is this link, which is their crowd supply, which I've got open in 2 tabs here. It's still got 27 days of funding left. That's how early access I got this. They've met their goals. They're 105% funded. They've got some purchasing options. And if we scroll down, of course, it's more of the same that we saw. These, and right here, it's either a dual core 3760 Celeron or a quad core Celeron 7700. So those are the 2 options that this comes with. Again, this isn't meant to be a big beast of a machine. This is meant to be kind of an entry level option. And of course, there's more of the specs that we've already looked at down here already. And of course, here's just kind of a top down of what the board looks like out of the case. There's the bottom, right? There's your CPU that actually connects directly via some thermal paste for cooling. So it's all passively cooled. They've got their diagrams there, their enclosure. Here you can see that's this little spot right here is where, actually zoom in a little bit. This spot right here is actually what makes contact with the CPU, again, via some thermal paste. There it is. There it is some more. You've got some CPU benchmark scores, that sort of thing. Scroll. Self-hosted AI? Sure, why not? I'm curious about what that... Oh, that's a GPU, I bet. Ooh, that's interesting. Huh. Let's see. Correct. So there is one Ethernet port on it. However, there are options to buy additional PCI cards to plug into that, where you can get either like one of the cards they sent me was is a four port card that's each 2.5 gigs. They also sent me a 10 gig card. I don't know how many ports are on that. I think it's just one. But they're all Ethernet. There's no SFP or SFP plus. It's all Ethernet for those connections. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And again, more of the stuff we've already talked about. Casa OS comes pre-installed. And of course, GitHub repository, Discord server. I would absolutely encourage you to to take a look at that. I don't know if it'll run PoE, but that's an interesting idea. It might look a little messy with all the cables, but you know, that's where you have to get creative with your cable management. That's just kind of one of the things there. Remote access, foster efficient to do. I don't know how they're facilitating the remote access presently. They might have some sort of tunnel or something that they're working on. And of course, they've got a built-in app store. If you're familiar with COS, we're going to skip all of this. It was actually COS that got me in touch with these guys. I saw I saw like a post about COS, loved the look of it, started digging into it. Guys, quit! Anyway, so this is kind of where they are. Their prototype, their enclosure, all of that's done. There's a small batch trial process in progress. That's how I got mine. One moment, guys. I gotta deal with this. Okay, my apologies. One of our cats we've had forever was kind of trying to go after a cat we're fostering. Anyway, James is correct. Cats are going to cat. M.2 or SATA. There is actually, we're going to take a look at those expansion ports. There is just 32 gigs of onboard storage that is eMMC. However, there are some breakout boards for SATA, for M.2, all kinds of stuff that's going to run through that PCI Express or that PCI port. So anyway, let's go back to our desktop here. So right now they're doing a small batch trial in progress of like 200 pieces. So that's where we are right now. That's what I've got is one of their small batch runs. There again, you can see it, logistics. So this is all their crowd supply stuff. You're saying, hey, there are some risks, there are some challenges. You know, here are things to keep in mind before you back a project. And again, they're 105%. Let me go all the way up to the top here. Yeah, they're 105% funded, so they should absolutely put this out. Shouldn't be an issue. Their mission is, without a doubt, the not too distant future holds a vision of humans and artificial intelligence living in symbiosis. As we venture forth into this advanced new world, our aspiration is to safeguard a pristine and unblemished realm, a utopia of sorts. Welcome the digital age with open arms and firmly uphold our data autonomy. So they're trying to get people interested in self-hosting and setting up their own NASAs and doing that sort of thing at a very low cost. Like, I think you can get these super, super inexpensive. I don't want to say cheap. Cheap's the wrong word. In the press, so hopefully they'll be adding me to that at some point. That is just my ego talking there. But basically, here you go. The ZimaBoard 3760, $64. So you get a dual core ZimaBoard with USB Type-C cable and a SATA cable that runs both power and SATA there. Orders aren't even going to ship until January 31st, 2024. So I've got this like three months in advance, which kind of makes me feel good. Or there are other options. There's the 7700 with the quad core. It is a bit more expensive, but still sub $100, and priced competitively against a Raspberry Pi. However, that doesn't come with any memory, so you would have to get that for yourself, or you can spend an extra $32 and get the memory and the cables and the power supply and the display to, I think that's the mini display to HDMI. $128 for all of that I don't think is a bad deal. And it looks like 109 other people agree with me there. So if we scroll down a little further, for $144, you're going to get all of the above and the aluminum case. We're going to take a look at all of these accessories here in a bit. And again, $144, not a bad deal there. Or screw it, buy a cluster and basically get three nodes and all of the stuff for that, as well as the NAS box to hold your hard drives. And of course, there's the 3760 early bird kit that's already sold out. And then, of course, the team, who is Ice Whale. And Ice Whale is the company that runs Zima, whether it's the board, the blade, the box, cube, whatever it's called, as well as Casa OS. Ice Whale is kind of the umbrella company for that. Dude, my cat dad voice, man. I've definitely got a dad voice I didn't have prior to, say, about 10 years ago. So then there's some other stuff that these are all different projects. So that isn't what at all we're interested in. I think we've kind of looked through everything here. So yeah, guys, any questions about anything at this point that maybe I can answer, maybe I can't? I'd be happy to answer that. I'm gonna drink some tea here real quick. So, I think we're at a point where we've got an audience. We got 20, looks like 27, maybe more, maybe less. The counter's always off. But we've got some people here, and I'm stoked. I'm real glad that you guys are here hanging out with me. I know for some of you guys, it is literally the middle of the night. I do have one, mister. So let's screw it. Like, let's just do this. Let's do that button. And hey, look. There it is. That's the box. This is one of apparently 200 in their small production run. I've opened the box. I've looked at it. I have not powered it on yet in any capacity. I haven't even done any of that. So simple box. I really dig the aesthetic on the box, kind of keeping with that cyberpunk look to it. I really dig that. I'm gonna put this right back in there. Right here is the board. We're gonna set that aside for just a minute. Lauren Pan is actually I probably need to go that way, don't I? I don't know. Anyway, he put up a little message that goes in each one of these, and then there's a QR code that you can scan to get more information. A little quick start guide about how to plug everything in. And then underneath, let's pull all of this out. So we get a little USB-C cable, very short, 10 inches maybe, and then a SATA adapter here with power and data on that. And then just a couple of little stickers. So that's what's in the box there. We're going to put all this back in here. We're going to put all of this back in here. Maybe. There we go. And we're going to set that aside. So let's zoom in just a little bit more here. Like so. Okay. So this is the device. And honestly, it took me a minute to figure out how to get into it because there aren't any screws available. They did a kind of a cool thing here. So what you do is you get up under this edge, and the sides pop off like so. And this piece comes off first. Oops! Once you've got that off, then there are two screws right here that hold in this clear piece. So I'm gonna grab my little trusty screwdriver here, and we're gonna take these two screws out. Oh, and I'm glad I've got a magnetic screwdriver tonight. I'm going to take this one out. Oops. Come on. Oh, it's going to be like that. Anywho, let's just go ahead and pop that apart. And then this one kind of like you pull it up and away, and then that comes off. And then in here, we've got just two more screws. Screw it while we're at it. Let's go ahead and take these two screws out as well, and we'll take a look at the other side. We'll take a look at this side a bit more closely here in a moment. I just want to get these screws out. There we go. Good enough. One more. Come on. Let's see. Jan Victor, dude, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you being here. The everyone's for a slap, an 8 gig mem stick, and an eSATA card with an eSATA case. You have a cheap NAS. Absolutely, Thomas. That's what they're going for, and they're trying to do this at a price point that isn't going to intimidate people, and in a form factor that isn't going to overwhelm people. Like you can see how small this is, and it's got two SATA ports. Oops, that just popped right off, didn't it? That's all right. So basically over here, we've got our mini display port. We've got a 1 gig LAN port, USB 3. Full function USB-C, but this is also going to be for power. On the other side, we've got a couple of SATA 3. I think SATA 3, the 6 gig anyway, and then a little power adapter to power the drives. And then of course right here we've got spots. So while we're here, this is just some 8 gigs of RAM they included with it. So we're just gonna go ahead and pop that in there, and that's how easy it is to install the RAM. And then if we flip it over, not really much going on here. You know, they've got some different spots for additional cables. So they've got a debug here, CPU fan, front panel, and I think USB right here. And of course the CPU there, and then all of its power delivery and all of that sort of stuff, as well as the real-time clock battery, RTC battery. That was July of 2023 when this was made. So this is super new. I wonder if I would honestly, I would probably want to replace the thermal paste on this. It feels a little gummy to me, but that's just me, maybe. I don't know. So anyway, let's go ahead and put this back together. It all, like the spots where the screws go in are actually shaped so that it's kind of keyed in, and it has to go in that way. And I love that. They made it super idiot proof for guys like me who are probably going to misalign something, and they've just made it super easy to not feel overly, oops, sorry, let me do this, to not feel overwhelmed. So anyway, Awesome Arizona says, I think a small HBA with 4 SSDs make a nice 16 terabyte server. Absolutely. Heck yeah, that'd be great. And like I said, we'll get into some expansion stuff here in a minute. I've got a bunch of different expansion cards and whatnot that we'll take a look at. Come on, we're almost there. All right. I think we're just gonna leave it. I think we're gonna leave it naked right now. I think we're gonna leave all of the accoutrement over here separate. Just cause. But that's, like I said, that's the board. That's what we're gonna get. Of course, here in a minute we will power it on. I've got Ethernet and HDMI input for a capture card already prepped. So now I guess let's take a look at some of the accessories they sent to go with this. I apologize. It's a bunch of stuff that we're going to dig through, but not all at once, obviously. Oops. Oh, didn't need that anyway. So let's go ahead and just set this a little bit out of frame so it's still there, so we still know why we're here. Oh, you know what? I need to... Oops, there it is. I'm going to turn that back on. I'll bring that all the way up. Come on. There we go. Anyway, so here we've got, this is, let me zoom out just a little bit. I'll make it easier to see what's going on here. All right. So basically we've got two SATA connectors on this end to put into your drives. And of course on the other end, we've got the opposite end of the SATA there, as well as the power to plug into here and power your drives. So that's what we've got there. And this is just so you know you can add more storage, that sort of thing. Here we've got, looks like our M.2 PCI card. Let's go ahead and just rip this thing open. CPU is the J. Let's see. Come on, don't want to break anything here. All right, here we go. So we've got just a dual M.2 drive here, or card here rather. So we can attach this via SATA. So we're not going to get full M.2 speeds. That's definitely something to keep in mind. We are going to be restricted to SATA speeds on that. So something to keep in mind. Just wanted to kind of point that out. But of course, you know, it just plugs in like that. And now you've got your expansion card ready to go. I would probably want to design something that would support this better. Rather than just having it flopping around like that, but there is your M.2 carrier card. Oh, and then of course in here in the box, we do get. Tear this open. It looks like this is just going to be a SATA Yeah, just a SATA cable there, as well as some screws for attaching the M.2 drives here, little screwdriver, and then a full size cards or I can't think what that's called. The thing that plugs into the back of your computer usually goes on the edge of the board. Maybe somebody I don't believe it's a 4105 CPU there. I think they actually talked about it. It might be. It's the 30. It says dual core option. Let me. Yeah, so it's the dual core 3760 Celeron or the 7700 Celeron. I don't know. You know, I don't think that the SATA is power. I think it's going to be data, because if we look at like some of these other breakout boards, like there's a dedicated power line that powers the drives. Maybe it's going to pull its power. I don't know how that's actually going to work. We'll have to dig into that a little bit at some point. But that's the M.2 expansion card there. Let's get all this back in there, and I'll deal with the cleaning it up later. Is it a back plate? I guess I don't understand your question. What do you mean? Is it a back plate? Like that's the breakout PCI Express board for the M.2. Oh, so here we've got this. We're actually going to keep this out. This is the power cable. Oops, I'm not showing that very well. But there's your wall wart with your USB Type-C, and then because they don't want to, run into any issues, they've got several different options. And of course, me being in North America, I'm going to go with the North American plug, and then all of these others will just go back in the box. So we're going to keep that out. Obviously, we're going to need this to power it later on when we get to that point. Wow, sorry. There's a nasty storm coming in, it looks like. Camera. There we go. There you go. That's kind of what I was thinking as far as PCR will be power, SATA, and then the SATA will be data. That's kind of what I was thinking too, but yeah. So then we had a little breakout board here, more USB 3.0 ports. So of course, if we wanted to, just plug that in, however that would look, something like that. That's not great, huh? Interesting. But anyway, you might have to adjust this backplate here to do that. There's no skew for 70. Yeah, we'll take a look. Like hopefully when we get this thing booted up, we'll try to get into the BIOS and see what the CPU is read as in the BIOS, because I'm kind of curious as far as what that's actually going to be as well, because there's a lot of just random numbers. So I'm also kind of curious about that. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to commit to anything with regards to that just yet. So we're going to set this one aside. What else do we have here? Hey, they gave us a smaller adapter there. I appreciate that. This is going to be our 10 gig card. I can already tell. Yeah. In fact, I think it even says, yeah, PCI 4 10 gig card right here. But yeah, there is our 10 gig. Like I said earlier, this is Ethernet instead of SFP Plus, which I have mixed feelings on. But I'm glad it's available. I'm glad that you can put a 10 gig card on here without any issues. So I'm real stoked to see that. Put all this back in here. Let's see what else. Oh, the back. Okay. Wow, design floor. If you can't keep the back plate on the yeah, I get you. A lot of this stuff is obviously off the shelf parts that they've included here. So, okay, so here we've got our wireless card. Our wireless setup here. And it looks like, let's see here. So we've got our card here, and then of course a couple of spots for antennas, which they sent some big antennas with. And then it looks like we've got an additional cable that's going to plug into here, and then somewhere over here on the board, though I'm not too entirely sure where. It looks like a USB. man, would it be there? Would it be this that it would plug into? It must be that. But anyway, wireless card. Doesn't say Intel model AX210NGW. I apologize. It's right here in super tiny letters. But wireless card. It is an Intel card, obviously, and it looks like. And I guess if you wanted to, you could take this card out and find something else with that same keying to put in there if you wanted to go that route. So there's something to think about, I suppose. But yeah, wireless card, appreciate that. I will probably never use it unless I decide to get into some weird stuff. I don't like to use wireless if I can help it. My whole house is wired now, except I think 2 of my TVs. So yeah, so I just appreciate having everything wired instead. What do we have here? 5-port PCIe SATA adapter. So we're going to be able to break out into 5 additional SATA ports here, in addition to the 2 that are already there. Looks like we've got some SATA cables and some more SATA cables. And here is our breakout board for SATA. So we've got 4 over here. We've got 1 right here. And of course, then our PCI slot it'll just plug right into that. Let's see. Man, that is cutting it real close right there on that mini display port. I don't know how I feel about that. This one seems to fit better than the other one did, but I'm definitely curious about their thought process on some of the cards that they chose there. Dude, JD, how's it going, man? Glad to have you here. Make a Pi-hole server. You absolutely could. But I feel like you could utilize this for better stuff than that. Even an old, like Raspberry Pi 0W will run that. So I don't know that you would really want to dedicate this to that. Of course, you could put a Docker server on this and have all kinds of different, Pi-hole or whatever you wanted on there. And I think it would handle it pretty well. Yeah, absolutely. That many drives will need external power. I don't disagree with that. And I think that is something that they will expect you to come up with as far as powering 5 external drives, because you're not going to do that over SATA. And we got one more. This actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Okay, this is another network card. This is, I don't know if you can read that, but basically it is a 4x2.5 card. So 4 LAN ports that are 2.5 gigs each. So if you wanted to do, if you wanted to build an open sense or PF sense, something like that, you could absolutely, I should really do this over here, and you could absolutely do that with this. Again, I don't know how well the CPU would handle the bandwidth in a larger organization, but I think for, a small home or whatever, I think this would be adequate. Wow, that's even got a fan on it. But yep, 4 2.5 gig ports right there. Again, on that, I'm going to plug this in because I want to see. Now I'm curious about the alignment. So definitely not if you're going to use the mini display port. And it comes with an additional, a smaller card there, or a smaller backplate, backplane, whatever. But it's still going to cover that mini display port. So that's just something to be aware of. So if you're going to set this up and use any of these expansion cards, you're probably going to want to set up some sort of remote access to it, so you don't have to use the mini display port or the full USB-C there. Come on, there we go. Let's see. Yeah. So let's now that we've looked at everything. Let's go back to the chat for just a second here. Let's go back to my dumb face. Dude, massive overkill for Pi-hole. Absolutely agree. Yeah, 512 megs of RAM, 1 CPU core. Yeah, 100%. And I've actually got 2. I'm using not Pi-hole, the other one, AdGuard. I've got 2 of those set up, but yeah, they don't need hardly anything. Same issue with the ZimaBoard. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think their logic was that this would be something that you would always have a monitor plugged into. I think that was their reasoning, is you're going to set it up as a server, you're going to remote access it, especially with this by default coming with Casa OS. There's really no need to plug a display into it, because you're going to manage everything either through command line or through the GUI in a web browser. Take off the PCI bracket. Not sure you would actually. Yeah, there is that as well as far as taking off the bracket. If these take off like the, so if these take off like the ZimaBoards did, there's going to be a community of people who are designing cases for them and racks for them to support this the additional cards, that sort of thing. So I think that will be supported eventually, but it's going to be a community supported thing, not necessarily a ZimaBoard or Icewhale supported thing. Either cut off the tab or use an extension cable. Yeah, depending on the tab though, will depend on how much you got to do there. It's what I've done. A great device for a portable Vault Warden instance. It absolutely would be, as long as you were using some sort of tunnel to access it over SSL. Vault Warden and its counterpart both like to be run on an SSL, so something to keep in mind there. You're going to need to be able to do that. But yeah, but again, I think when we're talking about a portable Vault Warden instance, I think this is going to be overpowered for that as well. I think this is one of those cases where you get a Pi-hole and a Vault Warden, and a few different Docker containers or whatever, or Proxmox containers or whatever that are low power or not resource hungry, and you could install a bunch of stuff on this, and it would just sip wall from the power. It would sip power from the wall. Anyway, was on AliExpress today. They have a Wi-Fi M.2 card for 2.5 gig Ethernet. That's cool. That's really neat. I hope I hope that would work, and that would be great. Yeah, I think definitely a Proxmox or a Docker server. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think if you just try to dedicate it to one thing, whether it's Pi-hole or Vault Warden or whatever, you're going to be using or leaving a lot of resources on the table that you could be doing other things with and getting more out of your device. So yeah, I think. Let's go back to there. Let's go ahead and get this put back together just real quick. I probably should have done it earlier, but I was excited. It's kind of like Christmas. I really wanted to see what all was in the boxes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together real quick. Put that right there. Let me get my hand out of the way. I used Casa OS and added OMV to it for making it more cool now with Docker and Heimdall for an all-around setup. Yeah, absolutely. Man, I used to use dashboards a lot. In fact, Heimdall was my go-to for dashboards, and now I don't use a dashboard for anything anymore. And it's weird. Like I guess the closest thing I've got to a dashboard is like my homepage for when I launch my browser is Uptime Kuma, just so I can make sure that everything is still up and running, including Uptime Kuma. But if anything wasn't up and running, it would send me an email. So it's kind of. Hold on, I think I got to deal with something real quick. I apologize. Okay, so that time it was the raccoons letting themselves in through the garage. Anyway, I think Casa OS desktop is kind of like Heimdall. Yeah, you know, it was. I actually really dig the aesthetic of Casa OS, and we've talked about it. It helps if I put that on the right way. Anyway, that's that. There. Now it's all back together. We're good to go. Homepage as far as period of Heimdall. Bunch of plugins, really easy to use. Yeah, there are so many different plugins, or there are so many different home pages or start pages or whatever you want to call them that all do something great in their own right. And I have a hard time committing, I guess, is my issue. Yeah, so I just don't use one. See, Homer, yeah. Okay, so I think now we're at a point where I'm going to start getting this thing hooked up, and we're going to see about booting into it for the very, very first time. So basically, I've just got my mini display port to HDMI there. I'm going to plug this in right there, and then I'm going to plug in a LAN port. This is just a 1 gig. I've got a switch under my desk over here, and then over here I've got my HDMI that's going to go into there. All right, and I think there's that. All right, so then we've got our power. Commitment issues. I mean, it depends. You know, like my wife and I, we were Facebook official September 19th of 2013. So 10 years coming up here in just a few days. But when it comes like, okay, here's my level of insecurity. I've been using Spotify for years and years and years. However, I have never created my own playlist on Spotify because I'm afraid to commit to a playlist. I let Spotify generate playlists for me. I find other playlists that other people have created for me. But when it actually comes to creating my own playlists, I won't do it because I don't know if it's a fear of judgment or fear of being stuck with that or whatever. But that's where my brain works, and it's a weird place. So anyway, let's go ahead. We're going to plug this in down here. I deliberately put a power brick right there. And then we're going to click HDMI in. And then we're going to hope for the best when I plug this in. Actually, I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm going to do this. I want you guys to see it being plugged in. Did it do anything? I don't think it did anything. Is it? I don't see any lights. Let's go over here. Oh, I didn't plug in a USB for from a keyboard. So let's do that real quick. Oops, not upside down. It is upside down. Huh. Okay. Well, we're gonna do that. Let's make sure we've got power there. All right. Okay, so it's I don't see any lights on it. That's interesting. There should be lights on it, I would think, so that we can make sure that it's actually on. Maybe it's this. Oh, no, that one should have worked. Huh. HDMI, and that should be that one. Guess I'll stop it and start it. Let's see, deactivate, reactivate. Oh, hey, look at that. Now we're getting somewhere. Oh, I sure can't read that though. Holy cow. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Because I really want to get into the BIOS. That's super important for my brain right now. Oh, hey, Okay, we're getting a desktop operating system. Interesting. No. Okay, so we just got a terminal window there. Okay, so let's unplug it, right? And then we're gonna plug it back in, and then I'm gonna start mashing buttons on my keyboard here in hopes that we get, there's our ZimaBlade. I dig that. We're seeing that. I love it. I love it. There we go. All right. Heck yeah. Let's dig around this. This is what I've been excited about. All right. Project version. ZimaBlade board 001. IS wheel technology 815. It's off by a month. I can fix that. That's whatever. Oh, the build date. The build date was less than a month ago for this. So there's that. Total memory 8 gigs at 1600 megahertz. The time and date's wrong, but again, that was set to their time. That's fine. I don't mind that. Let's advanced. Man, it really doesn't say. All right. Trusted computing. Oops. Security device support. Okay. Sorry, I want to get something else over here so I can kind of see what you guys are saying at the same time. Liking the fish tank. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's I've been a big fan of fish for a long time. In fact, if you go back, if you go to my video list on YouTube and sort by oldest first, you might actually find some old fish videos. How I started my channel. Let's see. I would never thought you were like that. You're so matter of fact with all things tech. I thought you'd be that way with everything in your life. Oh God, no. I'm a very docile. Some people would call me a wuss, I guess. I'm not typically an aggressive person. I can sound mean and scary, but I typically am not. I'm just kind of, I go with the flow. Whatever happens. You know, I don't. I apologize for that. We're gonna. Thomas, don't worry about that. That Nightbot I haven't configured properly yet. But anyway, I'm a very timid, docile person in most things. So no, I'm very much like I will do a ton of research and I will regurgitate that research, and then that's kind of where it ends for me. Yes, Collins, my surge protector was on. We're good there. Isolate if I have a go, and if people don't like it, give them some tell them to harden up. That's great. I really dig that. What was that cluster option? I'll tell you what, let me try this. Let me see if this works. I don't know if that's actually going to work. It's not. Yeah, there is a cluster option where you can buy like four of these ZimaBlades and all of the accessories and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. Oh, you know what I didn't show you guys? There was one thing I left out. I apologize. Lumix, let's go back to this. I'm actually glad that you said something. So this is that hard drive enclosure thing. You put your ZimaBlade on top, and you put your drives in there. It's got slots on the side to screw them in. Cable managed, good to go. But yeah, I dig it. I'm glad that they sent that. Okay, now back to there. Okay, so here's what we want to see. We want to see CPU configuration maybe. Doesn't say what it is. Right, I agree. That is a weird BIOS list. It doesn't actually. Here we go. It is a J3455. Whoever said it was a J earlier and I disregarded you, I apologize. I was wrong. In fact, you were a couple of generations newer. Yeah, so it is a J3455 with a min and max of 800. Okay, so this is the 4-core version, it looks like. So I'm glad they sent me the upgraded one. It is all metal. It's all aluminum, and it looks like it's cast. So, you know, that I dig that. Let's see. Okay, so this is 4 cores, 4 threads. Hyper-threading technology is not supported. So that's the one we've got. This is their 7700 model. is what we've got there, it looks like. So I'm glad we were able to finally find that. Power management, turbo mode's enabled, max performance mode is enabled, C states are enabled. All of that looks really good. Active processor cores, that's all fine. Great, that's all CPU stuff. USB configuration, no disk. Oh, somebody asked earlier if the internal storage was upgradable. It's not. It is eNMC. It is soldered to the board. If you want more storage, you either plug in a USB drive or plug into the SATA ports that are available, or you get an expansion card and expand via SATA or M.2. But again, it's all via SATA speeds through that PCI slot. So there's some technologies to jump through to get that to work. But it sounds like they've already done all of that. So thermals isn't actually telling me what the thermals are. Yeah, PCI lanes. Yeah, 4 cores, 4 threads with four PCI lanes. Yeah, it's, again, this isn't meant to be a big beast of a machine. This is to get people interested in the idea of tinkering and trying new things without breaking the bank. And I love that they've done that. And I think that's kind of the mindset that people are going to have to adjust to. Is that, again, this isn't meant to run Crysis. This isn't meant to, run video games and that sort of thing. It's meant to be a low-powered server, whether that's a Docker server or a NAS or something like that. It's not meant to have a huge amount of input-output. It's just meant to get people interested in the idea of tinkering, or if you're already familiar and love tinkering, to have a low-cost solution to do more with your money. And I agree. For $64, it is a really good deal. I don't think it supports bifurcation. I haven't dug far enough into it. Like, I just got it this afternoon. But can it run Doom? I mean, I have seen pregnancy tests run Doom, so maybe. I would assume so. Yeah. So anyway, let's get back over here to this. Let's go back. Let's get out of advanced. Let's actually come back over to here. Nothing there. Chipset, graphics configuration, integrated graphics device enabled, primary display. It's all good. Aperture size. This is all normal stuff. South cluster configuration. HD audio is enabled. HDMI audio is enabled. I mean, this is all just real basic. It's made by American Megatrends. I'm not going to put a password on it because I would hate myself if I did that. Boot option 1, boot option 2. But again, it's Debian installed on here with COS-OS laid over the top of it. It's UEFI. I mean, just all real basic stuff, This is all fine. We're just going to discard changes and exit, and then we're going to say yes. Yep, 100%. Yeah, you're gonna get SATA speeds on that. So even if you've got a fast M.2 drive, you're still gonna run into a bottleneck of that 6 gigabyte transfer on SATA 3. So yeah, there's that. All right, so now, man, I'm gonna have to remember the default logins for COS-OS because it's been a while. Oops, what am I going on here? Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully we'll catch you in an upcoming stream. Again, I'm planning for Saturday afternoons, 1:30 GMT -6 for that. So just something to keep in mind if you're interested. So I'm going to come back over to here real quick. COS-OS default login. Username and password are both COS-OS. Imagine that. All right, let's try that. CASAOS. Hey, I think that worked. But man, I can't read that. That is so small. It logged me in. Man, that's crazy. Man, okay. I think at this point, here's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to come out of here What I want to do, I actually want to get my dumb face back over here so I can see what's going on. And then we're going to come back over here. We're just going to come back to right there for right now. What I want to do is take a look at my my Omada dashboard so that I can get the IP address of this device, because I can't read that terminal window to save my life. Let me get logged in here. I think I did that wrong. Oops. All right, 1 second here, and I will get the IP address of this. Then we'll pull it open in the browser, and we'll take a look and kind of see what we've got going on here. Also, guys, if you've enjoyed the stream thus far and would like to help, you can hit the like button. That'd be amazing. I'd really appreciate that. Uptime. Let's sort by that. Omada wireless. That's interesting. 8 hours, 5 hours, 4 minutes. Why don't I have... Let's do wired. No. Well, ain't that something? Huh. For some reason, I don't know that we've actually got data going on there. There's nothing going on there. Let me check down here. Well, we've got a light. Let's see, do we have a light over here? We don't have a light over here. Why am I not getting... Interesting. Huh. I'm not getting any sort of network connection here for some reason. And I should be. It is not giving me any sort of flashing over here. And it should give me something here and or over here, and it's not. So, Hey, Frank, man, appreciate you saying that. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you being here. Hopefully, we'll be able to get into this, and is it just, I don't understand. All right, let's see. Wired, that's been up for a while. Uptime. All of my wired stuff has been up for a while. No, excuse me. Well, hi. Come here. Come here. This is the kitty that we're now fostering. Her name is Smudge. Not after the meme, actually. The little white kitty in the meme with the two ladies yelling at her. That kitty's name was Smudge. The woman who lived next door to us for a decade named her Smudge because when she was born, she just had a little black spot on her head, but the rest of her was completely white. So she named her Smudge. Okay, that said, I think I need to go get a different network cable. I want to try a different network cable to make sure that the issue isn't just this cable. I don't want to lose on this one just yet. So, I'm going to I guess I'm just gonna put you guys on pause for a second. Again, I apologize. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Yeah, I agree. For that price, that 7700 kit. So basically, this kit with 16 gigs of RAM, great price at $128. And that's not even me shilling. That's just a great price. We're also going to plug in over here instead of over there. Oops. Let's see if we get anything here. Man, it might actually... I don't think there are any lights on that. That's bizarre. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, you suck so much. Not you guys, obviously. I want to be clear about that. If we come over here, it had been up for a little bit. So we're looking at 0.209 is what we're hoping for here. So 192.209. Maybe. Not secure. We'll see. Continue. Hey, there is COS. Neat. That's outstanding. So this is obviously the first time this is booted up. We're now in. Well, we're on the dashboard. So let's go ahead and create an account. And click create. Hopefully. All right. Show news feed from COS blog. COS dashboard will be the latest news feed of this via the internet, which might leave your visit records to the site. Sure, whatever. That's fine. Okay. So here we are. We are using 2.1 watts. I love. They didn't used to do this, but of course they've got access to the hardware because it's their hardware. So we're using 2.1 watts. We're at less than 40 degrees Celsius. We've got our storage here. We can turn our widgets on and off. We've got network status there. We've got an app store, files, smart up your home. So if you wanted to, you could go to Discord. And then of course SyncThing. They're big fans of SyncThing. Of course, we've got files, app data, documents, downloads, gallery, metadata. I don't think there's anything in there, but that's kind of cool. So let's close this. Oh, right. Yeah, and look, here's the thing. Like a lot of people seem to complain about some of these devices that I've reviewed, and excuse me. They'll talk a lot of trash about, well, that's a Chinese product. It was Chinese developed. It was Chinese manufactured. So was your TV and your phone and your car and the weird hate that I keep seeing on these products, not because of the product, but because of the people who developed them, really grosses me out, if I'm being completely honest. I just wanted to get that little rant in there. So let's look at the App Store just real quick. AdGuard, screw it. Let's click install, and let's see how quick this goes. I mean, that's pretty cool. Let's see what it says. It's installation completed. So continue in background. Dude, that was easy. Get started. All interfaces, port 80. That's fine. Oh, I don't want to listen on... Oh, yeah, I do. That's fine. Oh, I lied. I want to do... Let's do like 81 for that so that we're on a different port there. We'll click next. Create a username and password. And next, and then of course that's just setting up your DNS. That's fine. Open dashboard. Well, that's... Oh, what the heck? It went to 3001 instead of 81. But it didn't do it there either. That's bizarre. All right, well, let's go in here. Let's tinker a little bit. Settings. 3001. Interesting. I don't know. Okay, so it says that it wants to be on port 3001. I don't know why it asked me what port it wanted to be on. Oh gosh, darn it! Thank you. This is why I need somebody else to help me here. So anywho, let's see. I like COS, but I still have Portainer as a backup. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. Thanks, Collins. Appreciate your help there. I also agree they need to get over it. In the 60s, old guys would refuse to buy Japanese products. Soon they couldn't have any electronics. Dude, it was the same thing with cars, too. Everybody was about, the Fords, the Chevys, the whatever. I think those were the kind of the big ones. GM, I guess. And then like, like the Datsuns were super popular because they were small and gas efficient, and people wouldn't buy them because, how dare those people whose names we're not going to repeat the slurs of because that's gross. But yeah, no, it didn't make any sense to me. I just don't understand the racism. I really don't. I'm going to put this on port 81 because that's what I told it I wanted it on. And I'm going to click save. And if that doesn't work, we're gonna try something else entirely. So it's rebuilding at this point. And here we can see like the system status is still 2.1 watts, CPU is at 1%, RAM is at 8%. Network status, like this is super slick. I'm really impressed with how little it's using. Oh, and then we can actually see what's using what as far as CPU and RAM there. Let's try this again. 3001. Interesting. Okay. Let's do this. I'm going to change this to like... Oh, we're going to change this to 91. So we're going to change the dashboard port from 80 to 91. There we go. And hey, it actually refreshed. I dig that. Cool. Okay. Then what we're going to do, we're going to uninstall this. We're going to delete all the user data. That's fine. I don't care. And then we're going to go back into the App Store. We're going to try that again because I feel like I screwed something up there, as I do so very often the first time I install anything. I can't tell you guys how many times I will go through an installation of something before I'm completely happy with the process, before I make a video on it. I am so very tedious in the way I do things. Continue background, that's fine. We're gonna open this up. Okay, so 3001, that's good, right? All interfaces, that's fine. We're gonna leave that on port 80. DNS on port 53, great. Next, create an account. Next, open. That's the weirdest damn thing. Huh. Well, let's try something else. Maybe this is just a me thing. Cloudflare. Oh, they've got Cloudflare in there now. That's cool. That's I dig that. Add minor A-list. File list program that supports multiple storage. Anything here. In the past, I would have done Nginx Proxy Manager, but I don't trust it anymore, so I'm not going to do that. Server owners to request, review, and discover content. Interesting. Oh, you know what? I lied. I don't. Whatever. We're going to come back over here. We're going to keep looking. Oh, hey, there's Portainer. Where did it go? There's Portainer. Let's install Portainer. That'll be fun. I like Portainer. Great team to work with. Just great product, in my opinion. Love it. What's this? Oh. Okay, so we're installing, and then more stuff. Okay, cool. Portainer is... Hey, there we go. So there's definitely just something wrong with that ad guard. Oops, I almost typed in ad guard. No, we're not going to do any of that. We're going to create that. We're going to get started, and then we're going to go over to here, and we're going to go to containers. And hey, look, that's starting. That's running. Go to site. Oh, because, it helps if you put the IP address in over here in the environment. Of course, I'm such a doofus. We're here for COS OS, and I'm putting Portainer on here. All right, let's back out of here. So there have been, with regards to Nginx Proxy Manager, there have been some exploits that have been found and the developer hasn't done anything with. If you look up, in fact, let me Proxy Manager vulnerabilities. So yeah, there are some CVE exploits that have been found when they were published, when they were updated. Some of these haven't been dealt with, I guess. I've actually a couple of different times. I've submitted a ticket with regards to their SSL verification. There's some SSL issues as well. I don't trust it at all based on the CVE stuff and the SSL stuff. I can't trust it. So let's see here. Where did it go? Yeah, man, it just does not want to connect to that. That's weird. Let's go to this. Yeah, and there it is. So everything else is working. There's just something wrong with AdGuard. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that, at least to know that there's a problem with this one application and not all of them. So I close all of this out. Now I can come over here and click that. Now it's like, hey, do you want to log in with Plex? I mean, I could, but I'm not going to right now. And of course, then we've got our App Store. And there's not as many as I thought. There's a bunch of apps in here. And of course, I believe you can do a custom install. Man, they took away, man, they really did. In some of the, so here you can put in the Docker image and the title, and you can manually fill all of this stuff out. However, back in the day, back when COS-OS was still very, very new, like when I first discovered it, you had this option where you could, basically you could do this once, or you could import like a Docker compose.yml, and then you could export it as a COS-OS specific export, like a JSON file or a YAML file or something, and then share it, and other people could install it and have their own version of that bit of software that you made an install file for. And for some reason, what's this say? Import. Oh, Docker Compose, or CLI. Okay, so they've left that. That's good. However, it looks like they have removed some other stuff. So let's do hub.docker.com u/Linux server IO. I know I'm not showing the screen. Give me a second. Desktop. What? Linux. Oh, fine. We'll do it this way. Linux server. Fine. We'll just go to here. Come back to there. Go to Linux server. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. Sitgear. Let's do this. They've always got a, yeah. So then you could, if you wanted to, you come over here, paste that in there. Of course, you'd have to map your PUID, PGID, time zone, volumes, and then once you did that, then it would deploy the container, and you'd be up and running, and then it would show up in your dashboard. One of the things that I do like that they've done here is if I were to deploy something in like in Portainer, it actually would show up over here. That didn't used to be a thing, and I'm really glad that they've made it so that you can do that now. Looks like we've bumped up some of our RAM usage. We're using a little bit more storage anyway. So yeah, it looks like all of this is working. Of course it is. Wow. Okay. Let's get a little nerdy, right? Hope you guys will indulge me here for a moment. Because I have a little thermal camera, and we're going to take a look, and we're going to see what kind of thermals we're getting on this. I'm going to plug that into there, and then we're going to unplug this, close that. We're going to plug this in, and then I think what I want to do is come over to that. Okay, so there it is. Let's move this. It is not very warm at all. Of course, this is the top. Let's look at the bottom. 38, 39 degrees Celsius. Sitting here at an idle. It's room temperature to touch. I know that's not a great image, but yeah, it idles at like 39 degrees Celsius here in my house, and I really dig that. I'm glad that it's. I mean, obviously, I didn't expect it to be much. It's a 10-watt TDP. Right now, you're using Linux Swag. You know, I tried Swag, but I always like to have a graphical user interface for my remote access stuff because I don't want to screw it up. That's why I have Portainer alongside Casa OS. Absolutely. Oh, so you're using Nginx proxy manager for your home server. And time to switch to Traffic. You know, I was actually a Traffic ambassador for a while. Great people. I just don't like Traffic. I like what it does. I like that it's super customizable. You can do almost anything with it, but the tags are so much, and I don't have the extra bandwidth in my brain right now to do that. So I use Cloudflare. I use Cloudflare tunnels for all my remote access stuff. I keep things locked down as necessary by IPs and usernames and passwords and security keys and all kinds of stuff for the stuff that needs it, and the other stuff that you guys have got access to. I just use them because it obfuscates my IP address and gives me DDoS protection and all kinds of crazy stuff that I wouldn't otherwise easily have. So yeah, so that's kind of what we've got going on with this crazy little device. I'm super stoked, that they sent this over for me to take a look at, especially knowing now that these aren't even going to ship until the end of January. I like the aesthetic, and it's interesting. If I grab this, let me zoom way the heck out like this, right? Right, then that would just go through there. Of course, you'd want to manage your cables a little bit, but I don't think that's too bad. You throw your drives in there. You got a couple of cables running out on one side, a couple of cables running on the other side. You throw it on a shelf somewhere or in a rack, and I think you're good to go. I really think they've got a great little product here. I hope that you guys will. In fact, I'm going to put this stuff. Oh, that's nice of them. They actually gave me a little DB Tech thing. So if you guys want to buy one, there's the link to go over to Crowd Supply and get in on their Kickstarter, their Crowd Supply, whatever their fund, their whatever these things are called. But yeah, if you want to pick one up, whatever the version or versions or whatever package you want to get, yeah, I think it's very cool. I like that they've got so many different options on ways to buy it. I love that they're inexpensive. I like that you can pick one up. Let me do this again. Just ordered the advanced kit. Hell yes, Thomas. That's amazing. I really dig that. That's basically what they sent me, and I think it's great. Of course, they sent me some other stuff too, but whatever. I guess they sent me the NAS kit. But yeah, $128. You can't go wrong at that price. With the RAM, with the CPU, it comes in the case. You're basically good to go. Absolutely love it. I'm super thrilled that they let me get a hold of this months early so I can share it with you guys. And of course, we're doing this live stream for the initial unboxing and first look, that sort of thing. But there's definitely going to be some content coming on this. We'll try some different things with it. We'll see what it can do. We'll check out some of the different network cards and that sort of thing in some upcoming videos. We'll take a look at those different cards, that sort of thing. But yeah, guys, I'm stoked that you guys are here hanging out tonight, or early morning, whatever time it happens to be, wherever you are. Thank you so much for hanging out. I appreciate it. I love having these hangout sessions and whatnot, and getting a chance to chat with you guys in real time. I know it may sound cheesy or whatever, but I really do. If I can remember, there we are. I really do enjoy hanging out with you guys, chatting with you guys. Getting different perspectives on things from different people. I think that's how we all grow as people, is to continue to talk to people and listen to people and that sort of thing. And I love these conversations for that. I think I learn a lot from you guys, kind of your thought processes and that sort of thing. Arrow Move, dude, thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate you being here. And that's everybody. Thank you all so much for hanging out and spending the last, whether it's been the full hour and a half or whatever. I really do appreciate you guys hanging out and chatting with me and letting me share with you guys the kind of stuff or this new product that Ice Whale has put out or is putting out presently. So yeah. So like I said earlier, live streams are Taryn, dude, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. I kind of thrive on the little ego bumps I get from those comments. But my plan is this Saturday, like 1:30 in the afternoon, GMT -6 until the time change. And then I think it's -7. I don't even know anymore. Look up Denver time zone. That's where I am. And you can kind of get an idea of what's going on there. But like I said, about 1:30 in the afternoon, I'm going to try to jump on here. We'll chat. I'll try to have some topics, that sort of thing. If you guys want to support the channel, obviously subscribe, like the video is a huge help. It looks like we've had 25 likes. Thank you all for that. I appreciate that. There are other ways that you can support the channel if you want to do that. Of course, you don't have to. I've got a Patreon that you can join. I've got channel memberships here. I've got a dbtech.fans site. Any of those will give you ad-free access to any of the content that I release. So that means no baked-in ads from any sponsors. That's no YouTube ads, none of that kind of stuff. There's also obviously Patreon, PayPal, Coffee, the ko-fi.com or whatever. So yeah, again, I thank you all so much for hanging out. I appreciate, the time that we get to spend together. As cheesy as that sounds, it really does mean a lot to me. Let's see. Practical IT with Jeremy says, great stream. I really am tempted to order one after this. Please do. Please use the link that I sent up above. It's actually got a little tracking modifier in the URL that lets them know that I sent you guys to this crowdfunding or this crowd supply site. Yeah, definitely check out their products, man. Whether it's this or the Zima board. I think they've also got a Zima Cube coming out that is it's supposed to be more of a full-featured NAS, if I'm remembering that right. As far as the enclosure itself, it's going to be bigger, and it's got the motherboard and the spot for all of the drives and everything in one solid unit. I'm hoping to get a hold of one of those when they're available. And of course, when that happens, we'll do another live stream when we get it, and we'll take a look. We'll do the same thing on that. We'll unbox it. We'll go through all the hardware, and we'll take a look at the software and all of that sort of thing, because that's what I love to do here. I mentioned in a video I recorded recently that I acknowledged that a lot of the content I've done lately has been hardware focused. We've talked about it in previous live streams. My brain is almost there to start doing Docker containers and that sort of thing again. I've got, in fact, I can even show you this, just to give you guys an idea. I'm gonna get logged in over here. Let me find my thing. Of course I screwed that up. Why wouldn't I have screwed that up? I always screwed that one up. Okay, so we're gonna go to desktop, and then I need to pull this up to make sure that I'm not showing you guys something I shouldn't be. Yeah. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Okay, so this is my test server. This is where I try out all kinds of new Docker containers, and there's a bunch that I've been trying out, checking out, those sorts of things. Some of these I've made videos on, some of them I haven't, most of them I haven't. So there's definitely stuff coming down the pipeline as far as Docker containers are concerned. But I'm just little further with my brain, and then we're going to jump into that. But I thank you all for sticking around while we're going through this, and whatnot. So yeah. But I think, we've been at this for, gosh, like an hour and a half now or something, I think. Oh, no, don't do that. Mute. There we go. No more beeps. So, yeah, we've been at this for like an hour and a half. I think we covered everything. We figured out that it is a Celeron processor in there, that J3455 or whatever, with DDR3, which explains a lot why it's single channel, why it's DDR3. So we kind of established some stuff there. We saw that it's at idle, it's only a couple of watts. 2.1 watts, idling at 38 degrees Celsius, 36 degrees Celsius. So yeah, man, I think it's a great little product. And I hope you guys will order one, and hopefully they'll ship out in January, end of January, probably first part of February. And then yeah, send me pictures when you get them. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna stop rambling here in a minute. I promise. I'm gonna get some stuff put together. I'm gonna get a webpage put together with an email address so we can kind of do some collaborative content where you guys can send me information about your home labs and kind of like one of those LTT roast things. But I'm only gonna roast it if it's real bad, because the cool thing about self-hosting is one person might get by with a Raspberry Pi and another person might need an entire server rack, and there's everything in between, and we're all at different stages, we're all doing different things. So yeah, I really hope that you guys will submit your servers, your home labs, so that we can take a look at them and get an idea of what other people in the community are doing. So with that said, thank you guys again so much for spending some time with me tonight. I'm gonna go feed the raccoons so they quit breaking into my house, and then I'm gonna go to bed. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys again, and I will talk to you in the next